And a welcome to anyone that might be here. And if you're not here yet,
All right.
welcome anyway when you listen later.
Yep, absolutely here. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Arknolia and the Doctor, our music memory series here. This is episode 6. And tonight we're going to do a special episode devoted to the one and only Elvis Aaron Presley. And his influence, his impact on pop culture, the music, and most of all, we need to touch up, of course, that really interests me is how far he let himself go.
Yeah,
Yeah, which we'll
because he
do a.
definitely did that.
Oh yeah, he did that massively, and kind of like we wanted to go into deeper into that because we want the people listening to be alert in case they or somebody else they know or a friend, relative starts to fall into that particular rut, you know. And we could start off with the impact that he had on popular pop culture, American culture, needless to say, because the the, the outfits, the hairstyle, the songs have been covered how many times by this artist, that artist. He helped along with Gene Vincent and of course Eddie Cochran the rockabilly scene of the 1980s, and which is still pretty much going on, but there's a lot more underground than what it was back during that period when the Stray Cats, Jimmy and the Mustangs, and bands like a local Detroit group called the Twisted Tarantulas was in. They would get their full swing from all those acts that I mentioned. Elvis, did a lot of about how many movies now he did serve in the U.S.
I
Army.
believe it was 30 movies.
30 movies. Wow, damn. It's like if you were to compile a box set of all the movies Elvis had appeared in, gosh, it would have to be about 5 volumes. Needless to say, from what I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the songs like Jailhouse Rock, um, Hound Dog, Have You Ever Loved Someone? You know, and has been covered many times by various artists. I remember Motley Crue doing Jailhouse Rock as the last song for their Girls, Girls, Girls album. Can't Help Falling in Love with You was covered by the group UB40 and, of course, Canadian singer Corey Hart back in the 80s there.
Right.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, you got to look at the impact that this man has had among popular American culture. I mean, of course, the suits that he wore during his 1970s period, when he started to get a little bloated, when he was doing his Vegas shows there, still emulated today in tribute acts. Needless to say,
Lots of them out there.
lots of them out there. We can't even count how many tribute acts that are out there, paying homage to this man here. And sadly, it was 41 years ago, this past August 16th, was we got the news. Elvis
Yeah.
Presley was found dead in his Graceland estate. I mean, and the story behind how he succumbed to drug addiction the way he did was pretty much that a story is an episode on its own.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And but I'll let you take a close look at how many records, how much of an impact. I'll let you have the floor there,
Well,
Arky.
he actually had, at least 50 LPs.
Hmm.
And these are simply his number one hits.
Yeah.
It doesn't even count all the other thing he did, but he
Hmm.
did Heartbreak Hotel,
Yep.
I Want You, I Need You, I Love You, Hound Dog,
Yep.
Don't Be Cruel,
Oh yeah.
Love Me Tender, Too Much,
Hmm.
All Shook Up,
Oh yeah.
Let Me Be Your Teddy Bear, Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah, which Motley Crue covered, and let's also
Yeah.
acknowledge Cheap Trick scoring a top 40 hit with their cover of "Don't Be Cruel" back in '88.
Oh, yeah. Then Don't, Hard Headed Woman, A Big Hunk of Love,
Oh yeah.
Stuck on You, It's Now or Never, Are You Lonesome Tonight,
Yep.
Surrender, Good Luck Charm, and probably my personal favorite, Suspicious Minds.
Oh yeah, that song gets played a lot of, in movies like I guess it was a couple of Quentin Tarantino movies or a couple others. It kind of escapes me a lot because around that time when the vintage songs, this is around the later section of the 1990s when all these vintage songs like Elvis, Neil Diamond, a couple others were being featured in all these movies there, and
Yeah,
they would gain tons of re-recognition from the audience at that time. People would get into it and they would start playing them on the radio and make that song a big hit again. It worked for, I guess, Neil Diamond's "Sweet Caroline," I think it was. I
yeah.
forgot. I don't know if it was featured in any movie, but then again, I could be wrong.
I'm not sure I heard it in a movie. Now
Yeah.
I know that you know,
So I'm dummy right there on that one. So it's hard to tell. I don't really watch movies myself there, but then again, you can't escape the songs from those movies being played on the radio here afterwards.
yeah. Well, Sweet Caroline was also, in baseball they have what they call the seventh inning stretch,
Yes.
where it's kind of everybody stands up and stretches. That's why they call it that.
Oh yeah.
The Boston Red Sox started playing Sweet Caroline
Hmm.
as their seventh inning stretch song.
Ah.
So people from Boston know exactly what I'm talking
Oh
about.
yeah. And Joe Cronin lives in the area. He should probably know.
Oh, I'm sure he's very familiar with
Oh
that.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should
Oh,
probably.
go ahead. I was going to say another thing I wanted to point out about Suspicious Minds is the long version was the first song that ever did a double fade out.
Hmm.
It faded out, then came back in, then it faded out again.
Like the Beatles' "Helter Skelter."
Yeah, kind of it's
Oh
similar to
wow.
that
I
in a
never
way,
knew
but
that.
but the longer version of that song, it fades out at the end, and then it comes right back in and starts up again,
Yeah.
then it fades out again.
And we're not talking the bridge here, the song here. We're
Oh no,
talking
it's
at
a
the
it's a
very
fade out.
ending. Ah, yeah. Like I
Yeah.
said, Helter Skelter did this, the Beatles, and of course a couple others as well. I think Kiss, I Love It Loud, they did the exact same thing.
Yeah. But I read somewhere that Suspicious Minds was the first one that did that.
Hmm, possibly. Because what song that came out in? What year was it there?
No, I'm not sure.
Let me look it up here. Let me get my phone over here. Let me hear.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, some of his other songs that apparently weren't number one,
Right.
but very good, was Suspicion, which was actually covered by Terry Stafford. He made it a number one.
Okay.
And then
Suspicious Minds.
his not Suspicious Minds, Suspicion,
Yeah,
different song. Oh,
I'm doing the
oh,
Google
gotcha,
search on there. It has a little voice there. We could say what you want. We can't spell the word. Okay.
gotcha.
Okay.
And another song he did that was pretty
Hmm.
big that, well, other than his movie ones, was his latest Flame,
Mm-hmm.
which was another good song.
It
And of
says,
course, there was a lot of the movie ones.
yeah. Now, according to this, actually, I think the Beatles may have done that fade out and fade back in prior to that because Helter Skelter was released in '68 on the White Album, and Suspicious Minds came out a year afterwards.
Ah,
So
okay.
it was covered by, of course, Fine Young Cannibals, Dwight Yoakam, Waylon Jennings, whole bunch of
Yeah.
others. Let's see,
Actually, the band I
Martina.
was in covered that song.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. The Heptones, Clay Aiken, one of the guys from American Idol there. Helmet, Lottie, Rusted Root, Mark James, Bobby Orlando, B.J. Thomas, D.D. Warwick, Gareth Gates. Whole bunch of people recorded that song there. Damn! Wow!
Oh, wait till we get to Beatles. You read how many people covered Michelle.
Oh my gosh! And
It's incredible.
not the Beatles song. This is a different one here. I take it right.
Oh no, I'm talking about the Beatles song Michelle.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what I see. Oh, yeah.
That
Because I
song was
thought,
highly covered.
no, next to yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I remember reading that yesterday was like one of the most covered songs ever, including Boys the Men. I remember hearing their version many years back.
I'm not into.
I remember.
I don't like
I
boy bands, but that's me.
I know. Well, at least give Boys a Minute credit. At least they weren't pop like the Backstreet or the
Right,
Backside Boys
right,
were, as I call them.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, another big one, and I don't understand why it didn't become number one,
hmm
is Viva Las Vegas, which was covered
Oh
by
yeah,
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top. Yes, I remember that well. Yeah.
Very well,
And
I might
I
add.
get. Oh yeah. And by the way, there was a movie of the same title, if I'm correct, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we, of course, we talk about all the movie, Elvis, we gotta win this race, gotta win this race. All the jokes that Eddie Murphy did back in his Delirious HBO special back in the early 80s there, that needs to be addressed as well.
Yeah, because actually, I'd say 90% of his movies were Elvis meets girl, falls in love with girl. At the end, they get together or
Yep.
whatever. That was most of them. There was a
Yeah.
couple that didn't follow that, but
Yeah. There was this movie I think he played, I guess he had a couple appearances in. I think it was called Change of Heart, for all I understand. He played a
change
doctor.
of habit.
Change of Habit. There we go. And I guess he was not the top star of that movie. Somebody else was. Anne Margaret, if I'm correct.
Not Mary Tyler Moore.
Maritime. Let me look it up. Change of Habit. There we
Yeah,
go.
they fell in love and all that because Mary Tyler Moore was a nun, but
Oh
didn't
yeah.
dress in her nun's clothes.
Oh
I
yeah.
actually saw that movie,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
he was starting to fall in love with her, and vice versa. And she decided, I got to wear my nun stuff,
Oh yeah.
and she showed up in the nun stuff, and that was like, whoa,
Mhm.
okay,
Oh yeah. And now, according to here, Dr. John Carpenter, not the director, played by Elvis Presley, takes the job of running a health center in a low-income district.
right,
He lists three women to help out who, unbeknownst to him, are actually nuns in street clothes. The
right.
church wants to improve the neighborhood, but fears that nuns in full habit will not be well received. Unaware of her unavailability, John falls for Sister Michelle, played by Mary Tyler Moore, serenading her with his guitar, which, luckily for him, effectively wears away at her religious resolve. So I guess that's the idea there. You got to have Elvis sing with his guitar here and there. That's pretty much about it. I guess that was the main
Yeah,
requirement of all the Elvis movies there.
pretty much. I believe. Look up Charo. I
Charles.
think that was straight. Charro.
Wait a minute. Oh, is that Charles movie, right?
Yeah.
Because it comes up because of Charles, the Spanish
Oh
American
no, it's
actor.
double R.
Double R. Okay.
Oh yeah, so's Charo. You're right.
Yeah. Charles. What am I talking about? Yeah.
The
Charles.
movie.
There we go. I got it now. Um,
I don't know if there was any music in that or not because he was trying to do a straight roll,
oh yeah.
and that's a western.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a different Presley. I'm looking at the Google images of this movie right now. It says right here a different Presley here. And it says here on his neck he wore the brand of a killer. On his hip he wore vengeance, which is his gun.
Right.
Elvis Presley is Charles. And it's came out along with 1969, along the same year that Change of Habit came out there.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I believe if I remember right, he was trying to play a straight roll, and I don't think there's any music that he sings in the movie, but I don't remember.
I remember. I think a lot of actors will try to do that. So you got to comprehend, got to give him credit for trying to do that because once in a while, when you're stuck in the same kind of role, you need to branch out. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah. For example, I can name many examples who were happy for the breakout roles that they did. For instance, Michael Douglas, when he played Michael Gecko in Gordon Gecko in the first Wall Street, he said, "Finally, I get the chance to play the bad guy."
Yes. For some reason, a lot of artists like to play the bad guy.
Sure,
They
because it allows you to finally step on one's toes.
absolutely.
That's why Triple H, Paul Levesque, gets a kick out of being the heel whenever he when he is involved in the wrestling ring or whichever storyline that there is. He said
Yeah.
even been himself, quote unquote, I do better as a heel.
And most of the really good ones will tell you that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of
Well, the
course,
first,
now go ahead.
I was going to say, the first Elvis movie was Love Me Tender, which was pretty much based on the song.
Yep. Yes. And soon afterwards, I guess Jailhouse Rock came out. A couple others. There's so many.
Well,
It's hard to name.
I got a list in front of me.
Oh yeah.
After Love Me Tender was Lovin' You,
hmm
then Jailhouse Rock,
Yes.
King Creole,
Wow.
GI Blues. And a lot of these had albums that went with them.
Oh yeah, soundtrack albums. Yeah, that was a requirement at that time. The same thing with the Beatles with the Hard Day's Night
Yeah, and Help
and Help,
and
and
Yellow
of
Submarine.
course this one I didn't mention about called Something New. This was only U.S. release. It had side one of I guess new song. I guess one side was songs from the Hard Day's Night movie, and the other side was new songs that they have recorded at that time.
Yeah, when we get to the Beatles, which
Oh yeah, we were
ain't
gonna.
that far away.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. We got it. We're gonna spend a lot more than just an hour on that to talk about how also a massive influence they are on pop culture, even to
Oh,
this
yeah.
very day.
Yeah. After GI Blues, he did Flaming Star, Wild in the Country,
hmm
Blue Hawaii, Follow That Dream.
Wow.
I've seen about half his movies.
Yeah.
Then he followed up with Kid Galahad,
Mhm.
Girls, Girls, Girls.
Oh yeah.
It
Not the
happened at the
not the
World's
Motley
Fair.
Crue one, believe it or
No.
not.
Fun in Acapulco, Kissin' the Cousins, which is also a pretty big song.
Yep.
And then Viva Las Vegas, which
We know,
that's the
like,
one that starred Anne Margaret.
yes.
Roustabout, Girl Happy, which is another big song.
hmm
Tickle Me. Then he had one called Harem Scarum.
Oh yeah, where he plays some sort of a hair, I guess some sort of a chic, if I'm understanding.
I think so. I don't remember seeing that one.
It's kind of him, but for usually when they play a sheik, you have to have that Arab accent, and it's kind of it's kind of hard to picture Elvis with an Arabian accent when you think
Oh,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Indeed, I better read this release. I'm going to the jailhouse rock. Oh my baby, do you love me tender? That's what it would sound like
Yeah.
most likely.
And then he followed that up with Frankie and Johnny,
Yeah.
Paradise Hawaiian Style, Spin Out, which was his car movie,
hmm
and Easy Come, Easy Go. And then Double Trouble, which was basically, he was, I guess he was, had a twin cousin or something.
Ah,
I
20.
barely remember that.
The movie, you know what? That title long sums it all up. He has a twin cousin who probably goes around, causes a lot of mischief, and it's up to the good Elvis to stop the bad Elvis. I'm taking it, right? If I'm correct?
Uh, Actually, I'm reading the little description,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of weird because the cover shows two Elvises,
Mm-hmm.
but the story says something about an American singer who crosses paths with criminals in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
So
And he
I
meets
guess
his,
that has something to do with it.
yep, and he meets his doppelganger right there.
Yeah, I'm figuring that's what
Yep,
happened.
we've seen this many times before. Like the prince, kind of like that one Muppets movie where Kermit gets mistaken for somebody else who looks exactly like him. The difference
Yeah,
is that the crook takes off its mustache and puts it on Kermit,
yeah,
and
and
and Kermit ends up taking the fall.
yeah. Next movie was Clam Bake. Then he had one called Stay Away Joe. Followed that up with Speedway, which is another car movie.
Yep.
Then Live a Little, Love a Little. Followed that up with Charo, The Trouble with Girls, Change of Habit, which I think was his last one. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
his last movie.
Yeah.
Now, he had a couple of concert documents, uh, Elvis on Tour, and That's the Way It Is.
And don't forget
But
the 68 comeback special after being away from performing for a while now.
I think that was the Vegas one, wasn't it?
I'm not too sure. I was reading it up a little bit. It's where he had that leather outfit on, his rockabilly haircut, and of course that cool ass looking guitar he had.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because which is by the way the thumbnail for my and on here, as you can probably see. Now, when Elvis reached into when he got into the 1970s, that's when do you think his everything started going haywire, health wise? In terms of his drug addiction and everything.
Well, probably the early 70s, but 'cause I know he died in 1977. So
Yes, August 16th. Yeah. I remember getting the news in the car there it was my mom, my sister, and a couple of neighbors and such. Remember reading about that. Man.
it's funny because a lot of people will tell you that his first television appearance was Ed Sullivan, but as you and I discussed once before,
Yeah.
it was actually the Milton Berle show nationwide,
Yep.
and he did the first time because he's on twice. First time he played his guitar and did that swiveling hip thing he does,
Yes.
and you know all the old people that watched Milton Berle were going nuts, like, "Hey, they shouldn't be doing that, and this is terrible,"
Yeah.
stuff like that. And Milton Berle asked him back the second time and told him, "Put away your guitar, show them hips," which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because yeah, the best you know what? I guess the best person to either get signed to a record label or the TV show to appear on is one that will understand what the artist is trying to do.
yeah.
Because you got to
It's
give
funny because
because a lot of these shows they tr- basically we all know the story of the Doors. They were told to
right,
change the word higher to something else, and the Doors figured, what's wrong with that? I don't think we should do that. No, screw it. Let's do the song as it is. And he did that, and they got berated by the executives of the programs, like, you'll never be on our show again. You promised you wouldn't say the word higher. And it's like, oh, come on. It's not a drug reference. They're talking about, let's get together. Let's get
yeah,
together and make out and all that stuff. That's what they were referring to.
yeah. But
Yeah.
censorship is what it is, I suppose.
Yeah, sadly, yeah. And credit to Milton Berle for letting Elvis be Elvis when you think about it.
Yeah. And then he also appeared on the Steve Allen show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering, hmm. I want to dig into something later on. That I would really want to dig into this topic here, and I want everybody, to talk. As I mentioned at the beginning of this program, I want everybody to pay attention. How far one can get when it comes to addiction to prescription medications, because it's still we hear about it a lot as of late. I
Right.
discussed it on my channel. I discussed it something on my channel a couple of nights ago, known as the Benadryl Challenge. It's where kids on TikTok are encouraged, to see how many of these allergy pills you could take before you start hallucinating and getting high. But the thing is, it comes a lot of with serious side effects and even death. And with prescription medications being abused, taking the place of street drugs like cocaine and heroin, you know,
Right.
it's getting to the point now where that's becoming the new thing with a lot of these kids. Kids figure it's cheaper, it's easier, it's over the counter, and now because of bullshit like this, they're going to have to start selling allergy medicines over the counter if they haven't already. I think they have on some cases, like the Claritin and something else there.
Right. Yeah, it's probably the kind of thing they need to do.
Yeah, I know. That's plus, and now it's getting to a point where you have to show your ID to the pharmacist to purchase this, most likely, because you know how all these stores are cracking down. But then again, anybody out there is all pissed off. Why do I have to show my ID to get some Claritin? Why do I have to show my identification? Well, don't blame the pharmacists. Blame the idiots out there abusing this shit, man. They're the ones making it hard on you.
And that's generally how that kind of thing works.
And Elvis, believe it or not, for those who not in the known, it's been talked about a lot of times, but it definitely needs to be brought up because many people often do fall into this rut, this trap. I mean, like,
Yeah.
he became more and more recluse because of his abuse of prescription drugs. That's when it was really taking hold. I mean, he had a battle with drug abuse. It was Linda Thompson, who was his partner for a good number of years up to his death. She gave a harrowing detail in her 2016 autobiography. It was titled A Little Thing Called Life on Loving Elvis Presley, Bruce Jenner, and Songs in Between. She's 70 years old now. She was 22 years old when she met the king of rock and roll. He was 15 years her senior and a long time object of her affection. Now, in this book here, she details something like while their time together was something that she'll. I'm going by the web page here that's
Right.
that's describing here. She found out that Elvis had died when she received a phone call from a distraught 9-year-old daughter, Lisa Marie. That had to be
Oh, man.
traumatizing for her. Who she become close during their relationship. She called her to deliver the bad news. I stood
Wow.
there, catatonic, gazed at the receiver. He smothered in the carpet, repeatedly raced through my stinging mind. Those gravity filled words sank my heart, and the reality that Elvis Presley was in all probably dead. Now, she also detailed that she had to save Elvis more than once, try to save him from the drug addiction that really fucked him up when you look at it. Now,
Oh, yeah.
she was she she excuse me. According to this, she explained that little was known about the prescription medication at that time, and it said that Elvis truly believed he could not be harmed by taking all these drugs because they're prescription. They're not supposed to hurt people. We found out, yeah, in the long run, folks.
They do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it just takes a long time. We see so many people go through it,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I guess now along with that, Elvis's diet became to change as well. We all heard the stories of the peanut butter and banana sandwiches that he would eat a lot of times.
And apparently he was a huge fan of donuts.
Yeah, he couldn't get enough of those. Now, I also want to bring this up here. Jerry Lee Lewis, one of his well-known rivals during that heyday. As you know, Elvis married Priscilla when she was 15. Jerry Lee decided to top that by marrying his 13-year-old cousin, which ironically got him in trouble, even though Elvis, I guess he got a pass for marrying a 15-year-old at that time. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was a state law that they were able to at that time or whichever, but Jerry Lee got the real blunt of it. He got really ridiculed. That really fucked up his career soon afterwards.
Yeah, he went through some very hard times for a while
Yeah,
because of
no.
that.
Now, Linda also noticed that Elvis had several guns lying by his side of the bed, as well as a assortment of prescription medication bottles. She
Wow.
said that asked if he had been sick. He said he wasn't. She asked, "Why do you so many prescription drugs, man?" You know, and Linda recalled he looked around, so used to seeing the bottles, he apparently didn't even notice them anymore, and he had to stare at them for a moment before he came up with an answer. He told her there was a little quote unquote respiratory thing, but here that was fine now. She believed him at first because at that point she had no reason not to, and of course she soon learned about the real addiction that he was going on. She didn't know that at that time people did abuse prescription drugs. She didn't doubt his explanation. I mean, he basically would take sleeping pills every single day to help him rest during the daylight hours. Elvis also was taking tanning pills to increase the melanin in his skin to help him get a more sun-kissed look, as it described. And most startling details was, according to this, a thing where he had a thing with a dentist. Now, Linda accompanied Elvis to the dentist where he had this quick filling done. And then a wink and a nod, and the doctor left the room. She said Elvis immediately opened the cabinet under the sink and took out a huge jar of pills without hesitation. He started taking handfuls of the pills and started stuffing them into his pockets.
Wow.
Yeah, and Linda said it was clear that this was not the first time he had done this. Although he acted was all totally natural, she could not believe what she was seeing. He explained to her that the dentist knew what he was doing, that it was just sleeping pills, which were tough to get prescriptions for, blah, blah, blah. And she said that after living with him for more than a month, he had to take sleeping pills to go to sleep, everything else to wake him up, as well as oftentimes something to prep him up to go on stage. There were a couple of moments on stage where he was sometimes not able to perform, where I understand.
And from what I understand, that's still happening to some artists.
Yeah, it is.
They have the same problems.
Yeah, like Ozzy Osbourne for a second. There was a stint that he was apparently addicted to prescription medication. Apparently, he tried to sue his doctor for uploading, and which is another thing. Filthy Mouth Gamer talked about this a few times when he speaks about the fuckery of the pharmaceuticals. Which I agree a lot of times. All these doctors out there who take care of these rich, high-paid celebrities, they're not really concerned about the individual's health or their well-being. They're more concerned about the money they could get from their insurance company or from them themselves. I mean, when you think
Yeah.
about it, the same thing with Michael Jackson with his idiot of a doctor. Because then the more they can push more medications on you, the more money they can get. The more that the pharmacist can get, the more everybody gets. It's the same thing. And it still goes on to this day, especially with mentally impaired people. They prescribed all these medications like antidepressants, but so far some of those antidepressants don't really do its job, and if they do some, it's only half the work that they're supposed to. And to make it worse, then they'll talk to the doctor. This medication ain't working. I'm still depressed. Well, let's try this one here. Let's try that one, and you end up paying more out of your pocket, or the insurance company pays more, or copay and all that jazz. There, the doctor and the pharmacies are making all this damn money, and yet the individual is not feeling that good, so they have to rely on street drugs like heroin and cocaine to make them feel fulfilled. You feel fine when you take those drugs, and it's a lot more cheaper. You could probably get more satisfaction with a $20 bag of weed or than a $37 37 bottle of antidepressants, which hardly does shit.
Yeah. It's a bad trap to fall into.
Yeah, be forewarned, people, because so many people out there are still falling into that trap. And basically, what we're doing right now is sending a message to those people out there to let me know to be on the lookout for all this bullshit there. In fact, I'm going to probably look up a drug hotline number here. Let's see, drug help, drug help. Okay, son of a bitch here. Give me a while here, folks. Got it right here. Okay, I'm going to jot this number down. This is the national helpline for, I'm going to probably put it in the description as well here. It's in capital letters, SAMHSA. It is a free, confidential, 24/7, all day, all night, your treatment referral and information service here. Okay? And the number is 1-800-662-4355. 4357. Once again, 1-800-662-4357. If you know or yourself is having issues with drug addiction, call that number. In fact, I'm going to put it in the description right now before the end
Yeah,
of the
call
program.
before it's too late.
Yes, and I'll let you handle the mic right now to talk about this. If you
Okay, well,
because there were a lot of stories out there. There was one story I remember hearing about that supposedly Elvis took some sort of a sharp object and started digging into one of his hands there so he could get more prescription drugs. I don't know if that story was true or not, but if it was, that fucking blows my mind, man. How how desperate you gotta be, to have all those pills, man.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
and of course, this is the Elvis that people often joke about because he allowed himself to get a little weight, put on the weight on stage. There were times where he had to help getting up. At times when he would kneel down to do those typical poses he often does. And when you think about it, that image of the fat Elvis in that white jumpsuit with all those decorations on there, that has often become more spoofed, more parodied, more than ever. You may remember Tort Elvis, the singer from the band led Led Zeppelin there many years back.
yeah,
He would often spoofed it, that particular Elvis at that time. And believe it or not, the Elvis camp were not too pleased about that, but there was nothing they could do. But however, Plant and Page approved of it all the way. They got their blessings to do their songs in reggae form there. Believe it or not. Yeah, so that's pretty much so far so good on the whole idea there. But it
yeah,
needs to be addressed, folks. It needs to be addressed. Shit like this does happen, believe it or not. Okay?
yeah. You just got to be careful what you do.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Just follow directions of what you're supposed to do, and be wary, be very cautious when they talk about oh, you need more of this, you need more of that, you need more of this, because they
Yeah,
will do that. Anything they can.
absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So what do you have to say about all this?
Well, as far as the drug thing goes, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
We got we got to stem the tide
Yeah. I know.
somehow
Yeah.
because it's killing people, and you may think you're
Hmm.
getting happy or whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
even sure,
Yeah.
but you're basically killing yourself and
All the people around you.
essentially
You're
everyone
breaking
around you.
their hearts. You're not that person that you used to be. Too many
Yeah,
people. I've seen a couple people have fall victim to that as well. Someone that I had used to crush on back around the early '90s, man. She fell into that trap, and then I don't know where she is now. But if I find out that I don't know if she's alive or dead because she whisked clean away. And I stopped talking to her, I stopped bothering her for how many years because of that person that she allowed herself to become. And I understand. Now, here's the thing. Were there any drug rehab centers at that time?
I honestly don't know. I think it was such a new thing that they hadn't really established any yet. Uh, First famous one I know
Hmm.
was the Betty Ford Clinic.
Yes, I remember that. That was done by Betty Ford, the wife of, I guess she had an alcohol issue going on for a couple years, I understand.
Yeah, she was Gerald Ford's wife.
Yes, president who was president at that time there. And
Right.
you got to also got to remember that at that time, during that time, believe it or not, the only way they seek possibly to end their drug addiction was through a mental institution. Iggy Pop did it years before. Alice Cooper had to do it a year later to battle his addiction with alcohol.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but then again, that was kind of like what they had to resort to there.
Yeah. Oh, another song I needed to mention
Yes.
was Blue Christmas.
Oh yeah.
That was a very big song for him. And it
Well,
was also covered by, of all people, Elmer Fudd.
oh wow. Oh my goodness. Wow, I got to hear
Yeah,
that some.
some,
I'm surprised. Do they still play that on these soft rock stations around Christmas time?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
The Elvis version, not the Elmer Fudd one there. So obviously.
No, it's the Elvis version.
Oh yeah.
But if you ever want a fun listen, you need to find the Elmer Fudd version of that song.
Oh yeah.
Or it was Porky Pig. I don't remember. It was
I
one of
don't
those,
know. One of
one of
those.
the stutterers.
One the probably Sylvester the Cat or Hooba Porky Pig. Who knows? You know.
Well, it's either Porky or Elmer, but I don't remember which one.
Oh yeah.
Hadn't heard the song in
I
years.
got Looney. We probably should type in Looney Tunes Blue Christmas. Most likely, I'll probably get the results right there. I'm thinking.
Or oh, either that or try Elmer Fudd Blue Christmas and then Porky Pig Blue Christmas
Okay.
and see what comes up. But I know
Blue
it was
Chris
one of them.
Blue Christmas. Let me see here. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I'm looking for it right now on YouTube here. Give me a few seconds there. Yeah, it's Porky Pig.
Okay,
It's definitely Porky Pig there.
yeah, and it's well, you know the song that Elvis goes, "You'll have a blue, 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 blue Christmas."
Yep.
Well, when Porky does it, he does it in his
It's Porky Pig, usual self there.
imitable fashion.
Yeah. Shout out to Mel Blanc, ladies and gentlemen. We miss you, dude. Thank
Oh
you for
yeah,
all, yeah, because he was the voice of all those characters there. Still missed to this very day. There,
oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He did pretty much all those characters.
he did, yeah. Now I don't know. I haven't watched any cartoons. If they had any cartoons, I should probably mention. I'm surprised. I don't know if they had any relatives taking over for him. Well, but in the meantime, I gotta go back to what Linda Thompson's memoir states here. Get this. I just found this one here, going back to Elvis. One moment there was one moment where she found Elvis drowning in a bowl of soup.
Oh man,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Apparently, what it was that they were sitting up in bed eating, and she went to the bathroom to wash her face. She hurled around to the bathroom. She hurried through her bathroom routine and came back and find Elvis's face down in a bowl of chicken noodle soup.
oh
It
man.
said, and she said whatever he had taken other than his normal sleeping pills had hit him hard and fast. Linda shouted to wake him up, but he was completely passed out and looked as he was dead. She ran over him, pulled him out of the bowl, and began clearing the food from his throat. When he remained unconsciousness, Linda gave him a shot of Ritalin that had been left by doctors for such an occasion, and she called medics for help. Doctors told her he would be fine, but she kept a restless vigil by his side. When he finally woke, he told Linda that he had a dream that he was dying. And he also, according to her, was a very jealous man, despite his own affairs. Remember, I think he cheated on Priscilla, if I understand.
I believe that is correct.
Oh man. I mean, here's the most gorgeous lady here, Priscilla, as lovely as she was then, as she still is now, and Marie included, I should say. You know, you know, he wants. How could you cheat on someone that lovely?
It's you got me there.
I know, because I understand Elvis was adored by all these ladies, but come on, you have this one true woman by your side who will stick with you through the very end. It just makes no damn sense. Why do you would do that? I don't know.
No, it
It's
doesn't
just
really.
and it's make it's same thing with Tiger Woods when we found out he was cheating on his wife Erin. It was like, are you kidding me? I mean, the same
It's
thing.
hard to explain.
I know, and the same thing with Hugh Grant when he was caught getting a BJ from that ugly woman in the L.A. streets there. You got Elizabeth
Yep.
Hurley by your side. She's gorgeous as hell, still gorgeous as damn hell, and you get a and you need a blow job from this ugly broad. Come on.
Well, then there's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, really? Yeah, I heard a few stories about him
Yeah.
as well. Yeah,
Had Maria Shriver, but he liked his old
girls on the
maid.
side there. Yeah, it's old maid. That's something there. That sounds like a name. That sounds like a plot for a porn movie right then and there. But then again, you know what? That I think that's already idea was already taken for some '70s porn flick back then, if I'm correct there. Now, according to back to Linda Thompson, she said that he once told her he did not want to know anything about her ex-boyfriends. That she was never to let him on that she thought another man was handsome. You know, that, no,
Right.
come on, dear, I'm the handsome one here. You don't, nobody else is handsome than me. I don't want to hear about how, oh, God, this guy looks. I don't want to hear how this person looks here. Yup, 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 yup. She called one time one terrifying moment where Elvis flew into this massive jealous rage after she had described one of his entourages as a good-looking guy. She stated that she just got out of the shower, was standing in a towel, and she felt a rush of air go by, and her bathroom immediately, the mirror in the bathroom immediately shattered, surrounding her with broken glass.
Oh
And
man.
yes, someone ran to check out if she was okay and told her Elvis was doing a little target practice with one of his guns and that a bullet had actually gone through the wall. And that
Wow.
she could have been shot right then and there. Then Elvis would have
Yep.
been tried, found guilty, and went to jail. If she had been sitting on the toilet on that moment, the bullet would have hit her. Now Elvis, of course, was apologetic as usual. He was like, he not realized that she was on the in the bathroom, or his bullet would have went through the wall. He didn't know about this at that time. He didn't expect that to happen, and but Elvis was besotted with Linda and told her many times that she was the woman that he had been waiting for his whole life.
Yep.
Wow, wow. I guess I think, from what I understand, it was also the fear of growing old that made him turn to these drugs. I guess, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that had a lot to do it. From what I understand, it has a lot to do with it with other people.
Yeah. Now I'm because let's face it, guys and gals get plastic surgery. They try to build themselves up in the gym. They try to cut down on what they eat because they want to regain that physical physique that they had in their early 20s. Vince Neil from Motley Crue, as we know, is probably still working out right now to get rid of all that blubber that he gained throughout the years. If you've seen the photographs of what I'm talking about, you know what I mean, man. Holy cow, dude. But
Right.
apparently that fear of growing old, just really puts a lot in men because when you're old, you're put out to pasture, you're no longer the big thing, and which is a big fear for many musicians, actors, and TV personalities. They want to keep that momentum going, and they're afraid to let that go. So, and I
Yeah.
guess the drugs partially was the way to not only keep them going 24/7, but also help curb that pain, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. No. I wanna bring up something here that needs. I remember reading in the National Enquirer many ages ago. Now, of course, tried to mention this before. Jerry Lee Lewis. He did. I guess he was quoted in the National Enquirer many ages ago, and apparently that, according to him, Elvis had a backbone made of jelly. And he
Huh.
also kind of blamed the Memphis Mafia, Elvis's entourage, partially on Elvis's death. Because what there was is that they were his yes man, for I understand.
And if he wanted something, they'd get it for him.
Absolutely. He even stated that if it wasn't for the Memphis Mafia, Elvis today would still be alive. And
Yeah,
well, I guess we all kind of agree on that statement because you know musicians, actors, everybody of that big persona have those yes men. Yes, Elvis. Yes, Michael Jackson. Yes, yes, Dan Rather. Yes, so and so, so and so. Anything to say? Yup, 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 yup. I will do anything for you. You're my pal, George. That's how we do it. Anything you want, we'll get it for you. Or you want a bunch of sleeping pills? I'll get you right there. Yup, yup, yup. That's how it goes.
yeah,
And just too many times, it's just those yes men are just and they're afraid of. Gosh, I could go on forever about all this situation, but basically they have to be yes men, or else they'll be out of a job. You're getting paid good money, just to have watch their supposed back, or supposedly watch their back, I should say. And my question is, didn't Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, step up his game and say, "Hey, Elvis, you need to need to stop this"? Did he ever try
yeah.
or
From what I
anything?
understand, that's exactly right. From what I understand,
Yeah.
he tried to stop it, and he was
Too out of control.
down.
He was too out of control, in other words.
Yeah, not even the guy that got him where he was going.
Yeah. No, not as his big backbone. I guess drug addiction is that can be that devastating. It can be can take control. Period. I never. I'm this. These are one of the reasons why I'm glad I never started smoking weed or smoking cigarettes because I am. I'll admit something right now. I've mentioned this a few times. I am a creature of habit. My sister and
Yeah,
brother-in-law can tell you all that. Because when I get hooked on something, it's hard for me to stop. Whether it's a certain cola or a certain burger or a certain brand of ice cream or flavor of ice cream, I often get addicted to that. And I tell everybody I try. That's why I try to limit whatever alcohol I have. Whenever I go to either see a concert or a dance club or whichever. I just keep it one or two and nothing else.
right.
And plus, you got to
Yeah,
remember, I'm driving, when you think about it. I came this close to getting a ticket for it because they thought I was impaired when I wasn't. They was checking one of the tail lights was out, and they asked me if I had any their drinks, and I said only a one, which I actually had two. They gave me a sobriety test, which I passed there, and they let me go because I was so cooperative. So thank goodness for that, man.
yeah. I actually never did even try any of the stuff
Well, man,
because I kind of got a first-hand view of what it does to people. So
yeah,
I don't want any of that.
none of
So
us
I
do.
basically stayed away from 'em.
Yeah, good for you, man. Credit to you for doing that, man. You know, we got to also mention here the impact. I mean, the references, um, the skits, the comical stories, everything out there, including the movie Hubba Botep that starred Bruce Campbell as Elvis alongside fighting this Egyptian spirit there. Elvis still alive. He's in a nursing home, walker and everything, still dressed up in his 70s on stage outfit there. And he's trying to fight this Egyptian evil spirit alongside some black man in a wheelchair who claims he's JFK.
Yeah,
And it's just, it's kind of odd to see Elvis. But then again, there was this thing I want to find again. It's like, it's a made up movie ad Elvis versus Cthulhu.
Oh boy.
I gotta find that and make that into a thumbnail or post it on Twitter or something like. Because I remember it was on my Facebook there. I gotta find that somehow somewhere. That would make some of the. I would love to put that on. I already put it on my Facebook, but I want to put it on Twitter and as one of my thumbnails for whichever program I do next with you or somebody else. But it is a trip to look at, man.
Oh,
It has, and of course, it has Elvis, in his regular pose, holding a chainsaw there.
oh.
I mean, when you go out to places with relatives or friends to see shows, how many Elvis tributes have you seen so far?
I haven't personally seen any, but it's funny because my brother plays keyboards,
Yeah.
and he played for at least two Elvis impersonators
Ah, yeah.
in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
All right,
So,
nice. And I'll bet all the women out there go gaga, I guess, right?
from what I understand, that is the case.
Oh, yeah. Because, man, Elvis at that time was like one of the big sex symbols. And this was prior to the Beatles arriving in America. I know, I understand that there.
Right.
Yeah. And I guess, he was like all the women were like so much in love with him. And also, you got to give him credit for inspiring people as much as the rockabilly scene that came in the early 1980s with the Stray Cats, Jimmy and the Mustangs, a couple others there. They often cite Elvis's look as part of the inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because the thumbnail I'm using right now with that guitar, the black leather jacket, black leather pants, and the black slick back hair, the style that it is, that was that is one of the inspirations. I guess it's also kind of like the inspiration for I guess for Dave Vanian of the Damned, which is a British punk band from the 70s and 80s there. They're often cited as a major player in the early goth rock influences there. He often styled himself to look like that, but a lot more Victorian style there, needless to say there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, the style that Elvis had during that time, with the guitar, swinging his hips. Which, by the way, did he actually really play guitar?
From what I understand, he could, but he wasn't like, he basically played chords.
So
Because I
there's like
don't think,
so basically it was just a strummer, a rhythm guitarist,
yeah,
needless to say.
and generally his songs were relatively simple for
Yeah,
the most part.
yeah. Whereas,
Of course, the story goes, if you listen to some folks, that rock and roll is basically a three-chord progression, which
yeah,
is true in some songs, but in a lot of other songs, it's not even close.
yeah. That's of course is before the prog rock scene came along, where you had to add about this many tempos and this many guitar chords or piano chords and shit there.
Well, even the Beatles played more chords than three.
Yeah, it's
You know,
true
they
there. Yeah.
they did a lot. So did other groups during that period of time.
Mm.
But all you ever hear about is, oh, they all play EAD or
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
CFG or
Well, the
whatever.
Ramones, the Ramones get a lot of credit for that. When you think about it, all the records and the songs they did would last about either no more than 2 or 1 minute there, and it was just the same chords, 3 chords in each song, different variety.
Yeah,
And because I remember seeing one time this black and white performance of his singing one of his songs. He had the guitar around him, but he was not playing it. He was just tapping along the front of the guitar to the song that he was supposedly singing there. Because back then they did a lot of lip syncing there
yeah,
on some of those programs.
especially American Bandstand.
Yeah, I remember that. That was one of the. And how many years? Here's the thing. Let me ask this question. Why couldn't Dick Clark let the band play live? Is beyond me.
I'm not really sure. I guess he didn't want them to sound different from the records because there are very few groups that can actually play exactly
Mm,
what they record. I
yeah,
mean, they can come very close, but
yeah, that's true. And I guess, and that I guess that was the thing back. The only group that ever broke that tradition, that messed that whole scenario up, it had to be always John Lydon and Public Image Limited. And this was in the 1980. They had this record that came out. Lydon was supposed to lip sync to into this one song, and instead of doing that, Lydon decided, to not do that. He started pulling the audience members out into the dance floor there to join in with the band. And he started, prancing around here and there, trying to lip sync. And soon later, everybody was out on the floor there. Everybody was dancing along. And Dick Clark said, after he got the members of the other of the group there, which was, of course, one of them being Martin Atkins, the drummer, who I'm friends with on Twitter there. We follow each other. Um, he basically, John, you want these people to stay? Let them stay, man. Let them stay, mate. And so they did the second song there, which they was supposed to lip sync in, and we could tell it was a recording there.
yeah.
Everybody was, it was like it was a party, man. That's probably one of my favorite rock and roll moments on TV, right then and there, folks. No doubt about it. Credit to John Lydon for busting that scenario up there. I'm still giggling when I think about it today there. You know, I know we kind of strayed away from the influence that Elvis had on pop culture to talk about his drug issues, but it needed to be addressed. There are people still
Yeah.
out there who still today are fighting the prescription pill addiction there. Whether it's street drugs or prescription. Now, I put it in a hotline in the description here of a hotline. Basically, you could call if somebody you know or us or yourself are having any drug issues. Feel free to call that number there. I'm going to add a lot more to the description when we're done here with this program, which should be about a couple minutes here.
Yeah, we are close.
Yeah. All right. I want to remind everybody that tomorrow night I'll be co-hosting with Foulmouth Ken on Wednesday's edition of Live Wire on the Foulmouths Network channel there. Me and Foulmouth Ken are going to be welcoming guests, so you're welcome to join in as well, Arknolia. Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You start that one at what, 8?
Yes, it's 8 p.m. here, Central Time.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that there.
And of course, tomorrow night we do our Star Trek thing starting at 6
Yep, that's correct.
Central.
Yeah, that's right. It's your
And
You're going to be continuing your discussion of all the episodes during those seasons of Star Trek, and plus how much of an impact that program has made on pop culture.
yes, because that's had a huge impact.
Yep.
And Thursday night we're going to cover 50s again, but we're going to kind of 4 main artists, but we may add some more.
Hmm.
Ricky Nelson, the Everly Brothers,
Yeah.
Roy Orbison,
Yeah. And we
Buddy
also,
Holly,
and plus we
maybe
got
Chuck Berry.
yeah, we definitely, I think we covered some of him there. And plus we also dig into the deep in the event that kind of like brought the 50s to the close, the day the music died.
Right.
Yeah, we got to dig deep into that subject there. And the in betweens that and the Beatles arriving, and the artist that was around during that period of time there.
Yeah, our next one after that one will probably be the early 60s pre-Beatles,
Yep.
because there was still some stuff going on then.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. All right, so and of
And
course,
then Friday night we'll do our movie, and right now we're going to do Sheena,
yeah,
Queen of
from
the Jungle.
1984, starring Tanya Roberts, based on the TV series and the comic book of the same name. Little white girl raised in the African village there becomes the female Tarzan. Needless to say, there,
Yeah.
and definitely. And we'll be digging in on those programs. Once again, all programs this week will be on 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Central, except for Thursday. We're going to do it an hour earlier because of my stint with Real as Fuck TV, which will be
Right.
airing at 6 p.m. Central with both Minnesota Vikings fan and Minnesota Silver Roll there. I'm going to be involved with those cats. Definitely check that out as well. All right, I guess that wraps it up for our spotlight on the King of Rock and Roll.
And anybody has any comments, suggestions, etc.,
Uh-huh.
put them in the comment section,
Yes.
and if you can, in chat.
All right, definitely do so, man. And also, any of these stupid little these channels saying I'm single with some pretty Oriental lady in the icon there, that will be removed. Those are bot channels. Those are those scamming channels there, the same as the let's be friends type channels there you heard about.
Yeah.
They will be
Yeah, and I'm
removed.
starting to pick a few of those up, even though I only have 2 subscribers.
Yeah,
And
they will go after any lesser known channels that they know about, no matter what. I had to do this with Foul Mouths Network. I had to do this with the this one lady here who does makeup tutorials. They were doing that as well. Be on the lookout, people, for those. If you have a YouTube channel, just remove them because they're all bots and they're all so idiots.
yep,
All right.
yep. But anyway, I don't have anything further to say about
Neither do I.
Elvis.
So rest in peace, Elvis. You were major.
Absolutely, and
You were
thanks for
you.
the memories.
Yes, and thank you for all the outstanding references, the outfits, the fashions, everything, the music, everything. And plus all the lifetime of jokes, stories, everything you could think about. In fact, it fits to say that Michael Jackson, we got to talk about him sometime, because when people talk about him, they often refer to him as the Elvis of our generation because he allowed himself to let himself go there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay, so that's it for our episode tonight. Once again, let me also state my apologies for everyone who has a hard time understanding what words I'm trying to get out. I often double talk at times, so I have been known to do this on many programs, on many other people's streams. I try to get the words out correctly, so I'm still working on that. So my apologies to anybody who's like, "What the fuck, Earl? You have my apologies ahead of time." I've been known to do that. I'm still trying, dude. If I can
Well,
count
I think
how,
most people understand.
yeah, and
I don't think there's a problem.
dude, if I can, if I were to able to save all the fucking bloopers that I make trying to make switch this video or that vlog, I would have about 10 hours worth. Could you believe it?
Maybe you ought to do a TSS2 type thing.
I know, maybe yes, but the thing is, I keep deleting them because I cannot save them all because I do my videos, my vlogs from my phone there, and if I hold on to all those bloopers, they would just, crime up the phone, and I would not be able to record anything.
Right.
I had that
Yeah.
issue before there.
Yeah.
All right, so for myself and Arknolia Bean, subscribe to his channel, subscribe to my channel as well. We will see you tomorrow night, same bat time, same bat station. We'll be discussing Star Trek on their TV Memories episode. All right, you guys have a good one.
Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye. Yeah, that was a pretty good show there we
Yeah,
did.
that went well.